Yo guys, what is going on? Lucky here, and today I'm gonna talk about the top 5 most frustrating aspects of World of Tanks at the moment. So if you're watching this video and you happen to be a Wargaming employee, I would recommend that you pay very close attention, and even if you're not a Wargaming employee, I still bet this video will be very relatable to pretty much every World of Tanks player. So now without further ado, let's get straight into the list. So at number 5 we have the shitty maps and the shitty map rotations. So if you are a real OG World of Tanks player, you probably remember maps such as Dragon's Ridge, Hidden Village, Comorin, Northwest, Pearl River, Seaport, Severosk and South Coast. Most of these maps were so much fun to play in my opinion. They provided fast paced and action packed games, which is so much more fun than those lame camp your tits off until the time runs out maps, like Malinovka and Prokhorovka. So what is it that Wargaming does? Well, they delete all the fun maps like I previously mentioned, and they just copy paste all the boring maps with a new skin. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, why Wargaming? Why would you throw away all that hard work that you put into making these OG maps, and then just delete them all and just reskin all the boring ones? It just doesn't make sense to me. And you know what even makes less sense? This might be just me, but I see Camping Novka and its million reskins pop up so damn often in the matchmaker that I just want to kill myself straight away because I don't want to sit in the bush for 15 minutes and wait for the draw. Now you might say, well, if it's a camping map, just move and go a bit more aggressive. Yeah, you could do that if you want to die straight away, because the enemy team is of course camping that tits off as well for 15 minutes, so if you move towards them, you can just get spotted and get obliterated by all the camping tanks. And no, that is not the player's fault, but it's the map's fault, because it's designed in such a way that it is so hard to make moves and to push upwards without getting fucked in the bomb hole the first second you move. So for the maps, Wargaming, please just bring back the OG maps and fix your map rotation. That would be very much appreciated. Then at number 4 we have the Russian bias. Okay, yes, I know Wargaming is a Russian company, and yes, I know they want to make Russian tanks of course a bit better just to support your home country a little bit, which I understand, but why the fuck do you need to have some kind of secret RNG multiplier? Or well, at least it feels like that, because it happens so many times that I just spawned and started driving around in a cornwall, for example, and then boom, out of fucking nowhere a KV-2 appears from all the way across the map, and it just 360 no-scopes my ass from 1000 meters distance. And I'm just sitting here like, what? Like, what the fuck is this shit? And then you might say, well, it could be just stupid luck, but just take a look at some of the gameplay of Russian tanks and just take a look at how many bullshit shots they actually hit. I mean, I rarely see those bullshit shots in other nations, but the Russian RNG isn't all. No. It is also the unstoppable flow of IS-7 buffs. I mean, I've never seen a tank receiving so much buffs in the IS-7. It's like they have a tank that is too underpowered, and then they're just like, wait, the IS-7 gets outplayed by it. Alright, then we buff the IS-7 as well to compensate for it. But what about the other third hands? Russian bias, comrade, suka. That's it, done. Fuck it, next entry, let's go. And now at number 3 we have the power creep premiums. So, this got all started when they introduced the Scorpion G about a year ago. But I have to say, the Scorpion G wasn't really OP, but it was the first premium tank to break the promise of Wargaming, which they made to us a while ago, which was that premium tanks will never be better than their standard tier 8 counterparts. So now just compare the Rheinmetall Borsting with the Scorpion G, and you will quickly see that the Rheinmetall Borsting was nowhere near as good as the Scorpion G. And yet again, no, the Scorpion is not OP, but it was the tank that broke the promise and got the shitstorm started, because shortly after, the Scorpion G got followed up by the first legitimately overpowered power creep premium tank, which was the T26E5 Patriot. And this thing was the first legit power creep premium, because if you compare it to the T32, or as to say its standard counterpart, it just looks like an April Fool's joke. The T42 had literally no aspects that were better than the Patriot. I mean, the Patriot just looked like a whole tier higher. But after that, it only got worse and worse, because what do you get when you multiply power creep at Russian bias? That's right, you get the Defender, and oh boy, what the heck was that thing? Again, it was way better than the IS-3 in every possible way, and yes, it also had the Russian bias RNG packed with it. And from there, we just got the Liberté, the Chrysler K, and I bet there will be even more on the way right now. I don't know if this is still fixable. I mean, they could nerf those premiums, but that will result into unsatisfied customers. So I guess this problem is not really fixable, but still it was definitely worth noting. And then at number 2 we have OP super heavy tanks like the Mouse and the Type 5 Heavy. So you might have noticed that Wargaming is slowly but steadily increasing the armor of every heavy tank in the game. But why, you might ask? Well, simply because of this one main reason, and that is money. Just think what will happen if you remove weak spot and increase the armor to a point where it's not possible to penetrate it with standard ammo. Well, you fire premium ammo, of course, because you don't have another option, and more premium ammo means higher battle cost. Higher battle cost means that your credits will run out much faster, and what will people do then? They will buy premium tanks and they'll buy premium accounts to compensate for it. Just to show you an example, here's the front of a Type 5 Heavy, and you see it is pretty strong, right? But now let's take a look at its weak spot. Oh, look at that, 270mm for a weak spot. And now take into account that most of your tank guns have standard penetration of around 250 to 260, and yes, that is not enough to pen the Type 5's heavy weak spot reliably. And don't even make me get started about the fucking Mouse. So overall, Wargaming should give all the OP heavy some weak spot that are at least pennable for the standard ammo of tier 10 guns, because this is just straight out money milking to the max. So now, before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. At first, it's the bond system. I mean, it's a good idea to reward the better players a little bit, but why with even better equipment? Why would you want to make the best players even better? They don't want that. What they want is special items and skin to show off that they are actually good in the game. For example, take a look at other games like the Call of Duty series. They award good players with diamond camouflage on their guns. And stuff like that is just what those good players want. So Wargaming the bond system, it's a good idea, but changing the rewards into cosmetic ones. That way you would make the pro players happier because they finally have something to show off with, and you would make the normal players happier as well because they don't have to fight those pro players with even bigger advantages than they already had. And now we go to the second honorable mention, which is skill-based matchmaking. Because I have had so many times that I have a good game, I do like 4k damage, and then we lose because my team's intellect is even less than that one of a cricket. I know Wargaming changed the matchmaking one patch ago so that the tiers will be more balanced, which is good. I mean, they fixed the issue halfway in my opinion. What they should do is also, again, like the Call of Duty series, implement skill-based matchmaking, so that the total overall of WN8 will be equal for both teams. That way both teams have an equal chance of winning, and it will make the overall gameplay a lot better. But now at the moment you probably all been waiting for, the number 1 spot goes to the fucking premium rounds. Premium rounds completely ruin the game the way they are right now. Premium rounds take away all the skill in the game. Instead of clever play, studying armor models, flanking tanks or aiming for weak spots, the only thing you have to do nowadays is double tap your 2 key and wreck every tank in the game. Yes, it's that simple. For me, it completely ruins the game. Also because Wargaming is changing the way, as I already mentioned in the second spot, that you also have to fire premium rounds in order to do well. In other words, you have to pay Wargaming in order to do well. In other words, pay to win. Also, mainly because premium rounds do not have any drawbacks, unlike HE, which has substantially more alpha damage, but it also has substantially less penetration. Premium rounds in most cases do the same amount of damage and have a fuck ton more penetration. And Wargaming, now listen to me, there is a very simple way to fix this. Give premium rounds a drawback, just like HE. For example, that premium rounds only do 50% of its original damage. That way it will be less painful for the players who get gold spammed all the time, and it will encourage players to take a few extra steps and outplay the vehicle they are fighting, by, for example, flanking or weak spot sniping. But of course Wargaming is never going to do this because they don't care about the fun factor of their game. They don't care about us. The only thing they care about is money. So guys, that was it for this video. Please share this video around with all your friends. Give it a thumbs up and comment down below what your most hated things are about World of Tanks, and maybe, who knows, Wargaming would listen and make the game a bit better. But for now, I'm just gonna say have an awesome day and I'll catch you guys later.